doesn't stay very well. So every now and then you'll be mowing, and if you're not wearing earplugs, which I recommend, I don't. If you're not wearing earplugs, you'll hear it. The throttle starts to slow down. You just reach over and you just kind of open it back up. Okay? So, started, throttle's open. That turn right there is what I meant by not power steering it, because the ground is all kind of ripped up right here now, okay? Out here, I wasn't too worried about it, but that's why when you get down to these ends, you want to work through your turn. Now you're mowing lines with this. The blade goes all the way out to the far edges. Okay. I typically keep the small black plastic wheel here as my point of reference when I'm mowing. Okay. Same for this side here. I'll go only about to the tire. Okay. So. That's what I meant by I kept my tire kind of right on that line. Everybody kind of got a warm fuzzy about the general. How many people have ran one of these before? Yeah. Okay.
Fantastic.
So, good. What we're going to do is we're going to start with the people who haven't, okay? And you're going to get opportunities. We got to mow both fields. So we're just going to start mowing. We'll let each person kind of get about 5-10 minutes of mowing time to make a few runs down and back to get a feel for it, okay? The last time we did this, the grass was a little bit shorter, and it was interesting because we'd have people go down and come back on the exact same line. Like they'd mow all the way down and then they'd mow that exact same line all the way back. And they did that 2 or 3 times. So just take your time. You don't have to go very fast. So we're out here. This is a good area to train on because it's big and flat. So there's not a lot of stuff. Key thing with this mower, if it feels like it gets out of control, just relax. Just bring your hands back to neutral, okay? Where it's gonna stop. You'll feel it stop. So, you know, this acts as the brake and it completely stops it. If you go back too far, you'll do a wheelie. Okay? Everybody kind of grab that? Got it? So who wants to be one of the first people to give it a shot?
Yeah! There you go.
Okay.
This choice right there. So which way are we cutting?
We're gonna cut the lengthwise today.
Lengthwise. Okay.
Yep. We'll go over to the touch line and we'll start on the touch line.
Yes. Okay.
So to give you a reference point. We're gonna have a circle painted on the ground where the water wheel gets parked. We're gonna go down to the other end of the field. We're gonna have a line painted. When you pull the sprinkler head out with the lawnmower, that's all the farther you have to go, okay? If you're in the circle and you get to the line, you're good to go. Because if you pull it too far, it's done. It's messed up, it's broken, and it's a pain, okay? Because there's these bands inside. We can't even get into that. Okay, so there'll be a fence post painted at the other end, a bright color. So that way when you're sitting on the mower and you're hooked up to the sprinkler head and you're pulling it to the other end, you just drive on a line until you get to that fence post. Okay? Use that as your reference point. That way we get a relatively straight line, we know where we're watering. And then it gets all done the next day or 2 days later when somebody else waters the other part, they hook up, they drive it over there, and they do it. Can I get a couple guys to, just a group of people, to spin it around and bring it so the tongue sits up about right here, okay? We're just gonna start right here. We're just gonna set it up right here just to kind of demonstrate a little bit of what's gonna happen with it. So some people can kind of push at it. So there's gonna be the circle set up. You're gonna pull it over with the lawnmower. You're gonna park it. As soon as you unhook it from the lawnmower, because there's a little bit of a slope here, I always just take the tongue and I turn it like that so the wheels don't move. You're gonna have the garden hose. Like I said, it'll be topped off for you, so it'll be all ready. You bring that fire hose up here. We'll have fire hoses ready. We have enough fire hose this year that you're not going to have to, wonderful, I need to pick the size. Don't worry. You put it on, you couple it. It's gonna be connected like that. Okay, there'll be enough fire hose out here, so like all you have to do is take this hose from here, pull it back to that line, and then there's gonna be fire hose over on that field. You'll just have to disconnect one hose close to the hydrant, pull it across the sidewalk. In the past, you had to take all of this hose all the way over. Now it can be done with one person. Before, one person could do it, but it would take about an hour just to get everything set up. Okay, fuel and oil, like I said, will be all ready in this thing. Let's come around to this side over here. All the gauges, everything is going to be set. So when you start this, it's just going to work. Okay, you just got to get it started and follow all the steps. Inside here, there's an engage clutch, little lever. Pull it out, turn it 90 degrees. When this is out and turned 90 degrees, this spool will free spin. You'll be able to pull it out. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure that's done right away. And you come, pull one of these levers, drop this down, it's going to sit into the grass. What that's going to do, as you're pulling it out and it's even pulling itself in, it's not going to drag the water wheel down. If you don't have these arms out and you try to do everything, this is just going to come with you. It's just going to follow you. Okay, so you'll put both of these down. So they're in the ground. Now they're both down in the ground. This here, this handle, be careful. You're going to have to take a little bit of pressure off. Release the lock, lower it down. If you let go of it, if you can, just get your hand away fast enough, otherwise it will slap you in the knuckles. Let it go down until you're able to unhook this. Just let it hang. You'll be okay. Okay, now that you've got the mower unhooked, bring the mower around to behind here. slowly back the mower up until you can hook the mower up, okay? So you'll be looking over your shoulder, just kind of watch, bring it back, hook the mower up. There's a pin. You shouldn't have to do much. Then you're going to pull the watering wheel out, okay? You're going to pull it all the way to the end. Cody, grab that side real quick. We're just going to try to pull it out. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now we've just pulled it down, following our line with the fence, with the painted post, and we get to our line at the end of the field. Whoever wants to mow next can go jump on when he gets down here. Okay, so now we pulled it out. You get off the mower, unhook the mower, drive the mower back around to the side. Okay, you've got to remember to push this button in right there. Okay, there's a little button. That button shuts off the water wheel when it's all done. Okay, if you don't remember to push that button in, it's not even going to start. That's what's going to kind of get the water going. Okay, and the thing is, you want to do that when you're down on that end, because when you're down on that end, there's no water coming through. If you forget and come down and get it all fired up, you're going to have to drive all the way back down to that end of the field, start it up, and then you're going to get wet. Okay, so you push that button. Then what will happen is it'll wind itself all the way back in. When it gets itself winded all the way back in, it'll pull it up nice and tight. It'll do that, water shuts off. So there's still water coming into the machine, but no water is going to be coming out this. Okay? You don't have to worry about any of these settings here, because we'll have it all set for the proper fields. Oh, sorry. So it's just like a simple sprinkler. Yeah, there's no water, you're good.
Kind of like low barrel kind of thing.
Okay, so now you've ensured you push that button in. So you can start it. You drive all the way back down here. Come back to this side right here. You'll know if this is working, okay, once you get the water going through it. So you won't forget that button step. The step that will be forgotten is taking this lever, putting it in, and then engaging it, okay? Once you put this lever back in, now it locks this in, and it'll start turning. It'll start pulling in when you engage this lever, okay? This lever has the speed setting. If you fail to do these two steps, or even if you do this step, and you fail to do this step, once the water's going through, you're gonna be like, oh, awesome, it's good, it's working. You're gonna leave. It takes about 8 hours for it to pull this whole field, okay? You don't have to worry about being out here for 8 hours, okay? I drive by here, we'll be able to make sure like things get shut off. We'll work through that as we have to do that. Because then all somebody has to do is just shut the water off at the end of the day, okay? Which is important, but it's not vital. It's not gonna break something. But the big thing is, I've done it, Kyle's done it. We've had a number of us that use this machine a lot, have forgotten, in a hurry, have forgotten this step and engaged it, and it just sits there and spins, and you come out 5 hours later, and it's sitting in the exact same spot, and it has not moved, and you've just done 5 hours of watering on one area, okay? And that's not what we want, because then we're wasting water, and it's just kind of defeating our purpose. But this is important. So, up here, there's an on-off switch. Just turn it to on, and you pull to start it, okay? It will not start unless the water is on. Unless the water is on at the hydrant. Otherwise, it will not start. Okay, I could pull on this all day, but it works off of the water pressure. Give it a few pulls, it'll start. Right here is the gas. The gas will always be on, and this is a choke, similar to like on the lawnmower. You'll just kind of have to turn the choke all the way on, out here towards your body. Give it a pull, you'll hear it, and you just got to feather the choke a little bit. And then once it sounds like it gets running good, just turn the choke all the way off. This is the throttle. Keep the throttle on max. Okay? Now we're watering the fields. So that's how this works. So your key things you're going to have to remember, hooking up this hose, the circle where we're going to have it marked, putting those down. It's pretty easy. When you're pulling this out, this is the slowest you ever should drive that lawnmower, okay? You want to pull it out really slow. Don't pull it out fast. I mean, you should be able to walk. A person walking, my 3-year-old should be able to beat you to the other end walking down the field, okay? You want to be that careful with this. Really slow. So if you're one of those people that's nervous about driving the mower and you barely want to move, this might be the job for you, because then you're barely doing anything, okay? Because you do not want to pull it out fast. But we should have it all set up so we make it as simple and easy as possible, so that way you're not over pulling it and wrecking anything. Any questions on this? Nothing? Yes?
Are we responsible for turning on the fire hydrant?
Yeah, again, you will turn on the fire hydrant, but it's over there. We'll have the handles and everything right there.
We go over that too, Matt?
Okay. Yeah, we'll go over there and show that as well.
So when you pull it out, really the green thing stays in one place, and it's just this little silver thing that pulls all the black holes.
Yep, exactly. So like,
and then that's what gets wound back up.
So like right now, go ahead, Cody. Cody and I can't move this. We can't pull it out. That's all the farther it'll go. Okay. Because we've now, that clutch is engaged. Okay, that lock.
Yeah, there's some hook underneath.
What's that?
There's like a hook.
Yeah, no, this right there, that just winds it in properly. It's on a spindle here, so it winds in right. Now we can pull it out by hand. Okay, we don't want to go any farther than that. So that's how it would work. And then you make sure when you get back to this end. And so right now, it's not all the way in. It only went halfway in. That's because it's in between like a gear. As long as you do that, it will catch and everything will be perfect. So we'll just kind of hang it back up. Okay, when you're moving it, it pulls itself back up. Put the hook in there, flip the lock down, pull it up and in so you can drive it so this isn't dragging on the ground. Take a little bit of pressure off, lower it back down. That's what I mean, you'll bust your fingers. Okay? Any other questions on this? Oh, and also, to get it on the record, before you move it to the next point, pull these up. Okay, one of the things you might have to do is you might have to rock it some, because these now are going to be dug into the ground. They're going to pull back in tight, and it might just be a pain. Rock it some, take some pressure off of it, pull them all the way back up. Hook up to it, drive it to the next circle, start the process again. Any other questions on it? Nope. You want to pull that side up? What's that? I'll be doing up like a binder, so there'll be a binder book with this, so you'll be able to bring it out, look at all the steps, make sure you go through it. I might even go as far in advance in the binder book where it's got a number of blocks on the top, so if Jake's the first person using it, he checks 1 on every page, and then the next person, just so that way you can go through and make sure you've hit all the steps. Okay? Let's get some people and we'll just move it over in this area that's been mowed.
Inside the big shed of the complex, this is where the fire hydrant wrench sits. We're just inside the big main door, right next to the little door. So between the doors, there's a big chunk of magnet nailed to the wall. This handle right here is the fire hydrant wrench. Now we'll go see how that goes on the fire hydrant. So this is the fire hydrant setup. The coupling here is from the city, and out the back is where the hoses come. So the fire hoses will be set up here for the watering system. And at the top of the hydrant is where the wrench goes. And the wrench is the one we got from the sports complex main shed that I just showed.
If they have 4 construction companies that need
The wrench fits on the top nut of
we've just tied up. You know what I'm saying?
fire hydrant.
So, and that could be one of the issues.
And you just turn it. There's actually a marking right here on the hydrant that tells you which way to turn it to go open. Obviously, the opposite way would be closed. So if I turn it across the top this way, that's open. If I pull it back this way, that's closed. You need to have it open to let water through.
So that's the whole.
You will be able to tell when the water is on. You'll be able to hear it, and you'll see the hoses filling up, especially out the back end of any of these spigots that are turned on. You can turn all these spigots on and off. The little garden hose spigots have toggles on them.
I'm gonna go talk.
Right here you can turn these spigots on and off. So that's very easy to manage as well. So if you're running the fire hose and you see water coming out the garden hoses, turn those spigots off because there's no reason to run the smaller hoses when we're doing the water wheel watering.